Hi there. I've had a lot of interest in the cataract videos that I've posted, so I'd like to do a few follow-up videos. Before I get started in the video, let me just say a couple of important things. Number one, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a doctor, so bear that in mind when you listen to what I'm saying here. Do your own research, and if you're in doubt about things, please do talk to your own doctor. The second thing is, there's no cure for cataracts. You can't reverse the process. That's not what this is about. This is about looking at ways of slowing down the process, preventing, postponing. But you may see things online, claims for eye drops, for example, that will get rid of cataracts. The only way you can get rid of a cataract is to go through the surgical procedure. So please just bear that in mind if you see other stuff online claiming to cure cataracts. This first video is going to look at the question that a few of you have posted: can I stop cataracts from forming? Well, there's good news and bad news here. The good news, let's all start with the good news, is that yeah, you can do something to at least postpone or at best prevent cataracts from happening in your life. The bad news is that you're probably going to get cataracts eventually. I think the statistics are something like 70% of people aged 75 or over have some form of cataract. So it's likely to happen in the end, but there's certainly some things you can do to slow down the process of it happening. So let's look at 5 things you can do. Number one, and this is a really obvious one, wear sunglasses. Probably you should be wearing them more than you already are. Even on a cloudy day, there is ultraviolet radiation which can damage your eyes. Obviously, on a day where there's strong sunlight, there's more risk of damage, but it's a good idea to wear sunglasses outside as much as possible. I'm wearing fairly standard ones here. You may also want to look at the sort of wraparound type, like these ones. With these ones, you completely avoid any stray sunlight getting in through the gaps. Another thing you might want to do is look at the ultraviolet index in your area. You can usually look this up as part of a weather report online, and it may give the UV index for the next 5 days. The UV index is a scale that goes from 1 to 11, with 1, 2, 3 being very low UV and 11 being the highest. And obviously anything 9, 10 or 11, you absolutely should be wearing sunglasses. But even in the lower numbers, if possible, I would wear them. So why does ultraviolet light cause cataracts? Basically, there's proteins in the lens of your eye, and they should be all sort of nicely lined up. But the ultraviolet radiation can damage the proteins and basically means that it's jumbling them all up. They're not aligned up anymore, and that causes your lens to start becoming cloudy. And that's a very gradual process. You won't notice it at first, but over time it will happen. Now, it's important that you get sunglasses that give 100% protection to ultraviolet light, and to do that you want to look for a certification mark. At least in Europe you'll see a CE mark on the stem of the sunglasses usually. You should be able to see that just there. Hopefully that's in focus. There's a little CE on these. Likewise with these. There'll be a similar certification in the US. I'm not sure what kind of mark to look for there. If I find out, I'll put it down in the description below. You don't necessarily have to get expensive sunglasses. Even your cheap £5, $5 sunglasses, a lot of them will give 100% UV protection. Another categorization you may find on them is UV 400. So if it's got UV 400 written on it, that actually means it's giving 100% protection against UV light. Another thing to realize is that even light tinted sunglasses should give 100% UV protection. So the actual tint or darkness of the sunglasses is irrelevant. Tip number 2, you want to avoid smoking and drinking alcohol to excess. Smoking can damage your eyes in a number of ways. It can specifically cause cataracts through two ways. The tobacco can attack the eye directly and damage proteins in the lens, which leads to the lens becoming more opaque. And secondly, smoking can reduce the body's level of antioxidants, which again can lead to damage in the lens. The effect of alcohol is a bit less clear, but there's been quite a number of studies that have shown that drinking excessive alcohol can increase your risk of getting cataracts. But also drinking no alcohol at all, people are at quite a high risk there as well. So moderate drinking seems to be the most beneficial thing. And specifically with alcohol, red wine, drinking in moderate quantities, can reduce your risk of cataract and can also protect your eye against macular degeneration. So keep that in mind, but keep it down to no more than 1 or 2 small glasses of wine in a day. And that leads us on to tip number 3, which is your diet. And there's quite a few things you can be eating which will help protect your eye against cataracts. Basically, you want to have a diet which is high in antioxidants. Antioxidants such as vitamin E, beta-carotene, vitamin C, and there's quite a number of vegetables and fruits and other foods which can help you here. I'm not going to list them all, but you certainly want to be thinking about your dark leafy greens, like spinach here. Almonds are also a good thing, sunflower seeds, papaya, as I say, a whole number of things, and I'll put them in a list below. But it's not just spinach, put it that way. And aside from the common vitamins I just mentioned, you also want to look at foods which are high in selenium, lutein, zeaxanthin and mesozeaxanthin. And those last 3 that I mentioned are really good things that help pigmentation in your eye and will protect your eye in a number of ways. In fact, I'm going to do a separate video about the benefits of lutein and zeaxanthin, if that's a correct pronunciation, and mesozeaxanthin. Anyway, in an ideal world, you'd be eating all these things, including them in your diet, but if you're like me, it's hard. You forget to buy stuff, or you find it hard to incorporate it in your cooking, or some things, you maybe just don't like almonds or spinach or whatever. So that leads me on to tip number 4, which is take supplements. So this one's called MacuPro, and it has pretty much everything you need. So in here it's got zeaxanthin, it's got blueberry extract, vitamin C, zinc, vitamin E, lutein, vitamin B2, vitamin A and copper. And these are all things which are considered good for eye health. I'm going to do a separate video looking at this in more detail and why specific things like lutein are good for preventing cataracts. But for this short video, I just want to mention this, and there's certainly other similar supplements. This one cost me, I think, £6 or £7, but it's got 120 capsules in it. So if you're taking one a day, that's going to last you for 4 months. They recommend one a day. Actually, if you're eating some of the stuff I mentioned in the diet, I don't think you need to take one a day. You can probably take one every 2 days. And then tip number 5 is simply to just try and maintain a healthy lifestyle as much as possible. If you've done numbers 1 to 4, you're sort of halfway there anyway. But another thing to watch out for is adult onset diabetes, because that can really mess up your eyes and cause cataracts to form. So exercise, try and keep your weight down. There's lots of other reasons not to get diabetes, but certainly it can be a big risk factor when it comes to cataracts. I think statistically people with diabetes have a 60% greater chance of getting cataracts. So anyway, that's been my 5 tips. One other thing I would say, it's not going to prevent the cataracts from forming, but at least if you can get them detected quickly, so you should get regular eye checks and the trained staff at an optician's will have the expertise and equipment to detect abnormalities in your eye, including cataracts. They'll be able to detect a cataract probably before you have any idea it's happening, before you notice it, and they'll also detect things like glaucoma and macular degeneration. So important to get regular eye checks. I think in the UK it's recommended you go every two years. So that's been my 5 tips about preventing or at least postponing cataracts. In my case, my cataracts were caused by surgery, retinal surgery that I had, which very quickly causes the onset of cataracts. So I didn't really have any opportunity of preventing it in my case. Now I've had the surgery, so I have the plastic lenses in, which means I won't get any more cataracts. But at least I can pass on what knowledge and experience I have, and it's got me interested in the whole subject of eye health. So that's why I'm making this video. I hope it's been of help, and please comment and subscribe if you like the video, and I hope to be posting 1 or 2 more videos very soon on the subject of cataracts and eye health in general. Thanks for watching.